What's up, everybody? This is Tripping Bowser coming here with some Call of Duty Black Ops on PC. And I normally don't give the IP for Call of Duty because that was when I was playing on Xbox, but now that I'm playing on PC, I decided I'll also include the IP of the server I'm currently playing on. So the IP of this server is in the description in case you guys want to check it out and play it for yourselves. But the focus of today's commentary is the Steam Summer Camp Sale. We're a little bit over halfway through. There's today and there's going to be 3 more days after that. Every single day has a special daily deals and also some ongoing sales. And I accidentally just killed my teammate there. That was an accident. I just reacted and I didn't really think it through. It was just a little bit poor judgment on that one. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the daily deals. Today starts off with Audio Surf. It's 85% off for $1.49. Really cheap. It's an arcade game. It's a racing slash kind of puzzle game which uses your MP3s to make the racetrack. A lot of people like it. It's been a pretty famous game. It's got a 85 Metascore, which is the rating system on Steam, and I trust the rating system on Steam. It's a good rating system. Usually if the game is highly rated, it is a decent game. So 85 is pretty high, so it's definitely something I would suggest. Next thing on the list is Cities XL 2011 is 80% off for $7.99. It's a kind of building large city environment simulator where you get to pick the different type of buildings and make a city. So if you're into that kind of thing, it's pretty cheap, and it's got a 70 Metascore, which is okay, not great, but good enough to consider. Next is all versions of Command & Conquer 3 and 4 are 80% off. Command & Conquer 4 is $4, and it is a real-time strategy game, kind of like StarCraft or Age of Empires. Command & Conquer 4 didn't get such a great rating at 64 Metascore, so that's not necessarily great. There might be other better RTS games for you to play, but if you like an RTS game, Command & Conquer is definitely a well-known series and it's worth checking out. The next one is all Company of Heroes games are 75% off. You can get the complete pack for $12.49, and the original Command of Heroes got a Metascore of 93, which is really high, so it's definitely a quality game. It's an older game, so if you're not interested in something that's low in graphics and older, then it might not be for you, but if you're looking for a quality game, it seems like a good one to pick. But the next one is my deal of the day, definitely the one I am going to be the most enthusiastic about and interested in. Well, I'm not going to buy it because I already own it. It's Counter-Strike Source. Counter-Strike Source is 75% off for today, 24 hours. It'll be done by noon tomorrow, and it is $4.99. So you can get Counter-Strike Source for $4.99 until noon tomorrow. So I definitely suggest, if you're interested in Counter-Strike at all, pick it up. It's super cheap, only $5. Lots of fun available. I've played it for years and had lots of hours of entertainment from it. So for $5, you can't really go wrong. If you don't have it, I really suggest picking it up. The next game here on the list, though, is Dead Rising 2 for 50% off, which is $19.99. And not a great deal, pretty decent deal. It was a good game. I played it. I haven't played all of it, though. I mean, there's a pretty extensive playthrough for that game. But it is a fun game, and it's kind of like a comedic zombie survival. So it's zombie survival, but it's really funny, and you use all sorts of crazy weapons. So you pick up all sorts of items in your environment to kill zombies with, and you can combine different items to make different things. Like you can combine just super soaker and gasoline and get a flamethrower. So that's kind of interesting. So they have all sorts of stuff like that. You can wear all sorts of crazy outfits. It's a fun game, and it's a decent deal, so you might want to consider it. It got a Metascore of 78, so pretty good. All Lara Croft games from 2007 onward are 75% off. The latest Lara Croft game, Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light, is $3.74, and it scored a Metascore of 82, so not bad. It doesn't have all the Lara Croft games. It has all the ones since 2007, so I think that's around 4 of them or something like that. But so if you're interested in the Lara Croft series and you haven't got one of the last couple of Lara Crofts, they are on sale, pretty cheap, and they're decent campaigns to go ahead and check out. And if you're unfamiliar with Lara Croft is kind of like a adventure game where she goes through temples and all sorts of old ancient ruins, encountering enemies, and her main kind of role is a treasure hunter. That's what she is. That's what she does. The next thing is all Quake games are 75% off, and you can get the complete pack for $7.49. Now this is also an amazing deal, pretty high up on my list, and that's because Quake has made is one of the best, first-person shooters. ID Games, gaming company, back in the day, they made some of the best first-person shooters out there. They were really the head of the first-person shooter game industry, and Quake was one of their big titles. They were a lot of fun. These are old games, though. Keep in mind, all these games are real old. They're definitely gonna be last generation 3D graphics, if not 2 generations ago by now. So they're not going to be that visually stimulating, but they're fun games to play, and you might very well enjoy them if you're open to be playing an older game. So definitely something to consider. Pretty cheap. Rift is 75% off for $9.99, and this is a mass multiplayer RPG game. It's actually really new. It came out this year, so it's surprising that it's this low on the sales, and it's not because it's necessarily a terrible game, because it did get an 83 Metascore, which is pretty decent. So if you're interested in mass multiplayer RPG type games, then this might be very well an awesome deal for you to pick up a cheap one and have some fun. I'm not very much, of course, one of those type of players, so I can't really give you awesome insight on it because it's not really my thing. But I don't know if that's your thing. Go ahead and check it out. Another RPG, Risen, is 66% off for $10.19. It's another fantasy magic RPG, and I got a 77 Metascore, which is okay, not amazing. So it's something to check out if you're interested in that. I can't give you really any opinion on it myself because I really didn't look into it at all because it's not my type of game. But next is Sanctum. It's 75% off for $3.75. It's a first-person shooter kind of strategy defense game where you are getting hordes of enemies and you have to protect your home. So it's a sci-fi futuristic setting. And it got a 69 Metascore. That is a little bit lower. I like to see hopefully 75 and above. 70 and above is okay, but below 70 usually is something I would not go for, so it's not necessarily something I would highly recommend, but it's cheap, and if you want to look at it, go ahead. The link to Steam store is in the description. I highly suggest you guys check out all these sales for yourselves. And the last one here on the list is Street Fighter 4 is 50% off for $14.99, and if you haven't heard of Street Fighter, it's a really popular game. It is a kind of fighting simulator game, and if you haven't heard of those, go ahead and look it up. It's got a 91 Metascore. It did really well. It's been a very popular game. Street Fighter is a very popular game for its genre and is a lot of fun. So if you like that kind of thing, definitely also one of the top deals for today. It could have been a little bit cheaper, but it is pretty cheap. So go ahead and check that out. And this is near the end of the video here, so I'll go ahead and see you guys tomorrow. All right, bye.